Tēnā koe, Tony. Kia ora koutou katoa e te whānau. Stunning evening here in Kirikiriroa. Sun is out and there is minimal wind. Perfect conditions for expansive, fast-paced rugby. No one has played on this pitch for 7 weeks, so it is looking an absolute picture. I can tell you that Tasman won the toss and Waikato will kick off from left to right as you see it on your screens, Tony.
Tasman to come out first, aiming for their 3rd straight title. Kane Hames alongside me. Kia ora e hoa. It's been a real scrap for the Mako just to get here.
Hasn't it what? Kia ora koutou no mai haere mai ki Kirikiriroa. The journey to the final for Tasman wasn't easy. The victims of their own success sees many of the Mako wearing the black jersey in the Northern Hemisphere. They've come right when they needed to and saw off the standard setters in Hawke's Bay. Now, behind enemy lines, awaits their final challenge.
Well, not often you see one of the subs lead the team out, but Quentin Mcdonald given the honour tonight, the reserve hooker, because at some stage tonight he will play his 100th in the Tasman jersey, a career that started way back in 2007 from a notable Marlborough sporting family. It will be a great moment for him, and they'll be relieved too that Anton Segner has been cleared to play after hurting his shoulder last week, having lost Puddy Parkinson. They didn't want another of their top forwards out. For a time they were in danger of missing out on the top 4, but they've made it, and so too Waikato. Apart from a mid-season slump, they've looked the goods all the way through.
Yeah, the walk through the tunnel of Waikato Stadium sees the walls decorated with success. All Blacks, Centurions of a proud union, Strawbridge, Foster, Gatlin are some of the names spotted on the walls. Now this team is asked to walk out of the tunnel and bring another banner back in. The current champions await already, and I can't wait for kickoff.
Qualified second behind Hawke's Bay. They profit from Tasman's win in Napier. James Tucker has been quite sensational this year. Injury-free at last. An absolute tower of strength in this Mulu pack. Winning the ball, carrying the ball, tackling the ball carrier. Teams now come together for our national anthem.
Referee Nick Bryant, his sideline assistants Cam Stone and Nick Hogan. The TMO tonight, Shane McDermott. Ladies and gentlemen, we ask you to please stand, if you're able, for the singing of the national anthem, sung tonight by Verity Hells.
It's a stunning version of the national anthem. Verity, well done. Well, let's have a check-up of the lineups before kick-off. Waikato looks settled, minimal changes, just the one alteration to their pack makes them stronger. Captain Aidan Johnston back after missing the semi-final win over Canterbury. The big talking point, All Black Te Toiroa Tahuriorangi in line for a Waikato debut from the bench just 2 weeks after turning out for Bay of Plenty. Figure that one out. Liam Messam gives them 2 All Blacks in reserve. Tasman have been put through the ringer with injuries but still present a strong team. Just one change in the run on 15 from their show-stopping win over Hawke's Bay, with All Black 7-star Regan Ware in for Macca Springer on the left wing. Springer dropping back to the bench, where they've certainly got some oomph, including Quentin Mcdonald in what will be his 100th. Nick Bryant has the honour of refereeing this climax of our domestic season here in New Zealand. Cam Stone and Nick Hogan, the assistants. Shane McDermott is the TMO. It is an absolutely gorgeous night in the Waikato. Okay. And 2 teams that totally, in every way, have earned the trip to this decider. One of these teams will tonight win the crown for the 3rd time. It's Tasman away to the right. Louis Chapman about to clear the ball. What a contest this should be.
Stay on.
Both teams having to play so well, fight so hard to win their semis last week.
Stop.
Tasman, against some predictions, even though they're the defending champions, upending Hawke's Bay. And of course, Waikato with a very hard-fought win, and the reward for them is they get to come home to play this final.
And it's appropriate too that the set piece provides the first break of the game. Big battle here between both teams. It's going to be interesting to see how this affects both teams' fortunes in this final.
Reece Marshall will throw to the line out. And they go for quick ball. And they look to Jack Lamb. Samoan international taking over late in the season in the number 8 jersey. James Tucker, who's just had such a sensational season. Now here's one of the finds of the year, George Dyer. At an early mistake, it was Sammy Penny Finau looking to build on their early momentum, but dropping the ball. And so with Andrew Newstub deciding to kick deep, Waikato go back inside their own territory. Ryan Tongia floating the kick down close to the touchline. Hunt is there, Mitch Hunt. He'll be so important to Tasman's chances tonight. And brilliantly taken by Tongia, under pressure from Whainga Anuku. And it comes for Ratima. Newstub covering good ground, comes across. So early kicking, as we so often see now. This thunderous boot of D'Angelo Leuila. Well, coming in from the wing, Timothy Tavatavanawai. He's done some sensational things, but he's taken a heavy knock here. Mitch Jacobson penalised.
Yeah, they are just checking on him now.
Nah, because he's half jumped into it anyway.
There are some
just an awkward one.
Teams and some players that probably play on this just a little bit. You hope this doesn't take place in a final. Mitch Jacobson, he's a warrior, been making tons of tackles this year. No one making many more than him. Just a small tip.
No, he's turned himself over.
Does get caught
there's a lift there,
in a weird, strange position.
Yeah.
He has stayed down. They will keep checking on him.
No, there is a lift. And
you heard the referee there say as well. You can hear him. He's saying there's a lift, but he has turned himself over. So good call from the referee not to refer it any further. But as you said, Tony, there is a lot of kicking going on. And why wouldn't you? Because there is not a lot of wind. So no real advantage for either team at this stage with that breeze.
Well, it's just that shadow boxing that always goes on at the start of a big game. No harm done there. Jacobson, phenomenal. 15 tackles a game, best in the NPC. But it is a penalty. And Mitch Hunt now gets a chance to drive the ball down into Waikato territory. Had the misfortune to be knocked out of the final early last year, Mitch Hunt, at Eden Park. Andrew Makaleo, another of the key men. It's been a strength, the line-out and the line-out drive. Well, they like to go to the front, but this time they go to the back and quickly getting Lester Whainga Anuku into the action. Coming for Chapman. It's slow ball, though. Riki Daveta to the 22. Antonio Chalfern, well, he was shoveling the offload away to a player who just got in front of him. That player being Quinn Strange, and so forward pass will have the first scrum of the game, the moment that Kane Hames has been waiting for.
Yep, this is, after this, I've got nothing else to be here for. No, it is interesting too, just a couple of moments from both teams, and you're right, shadow boxing starting to feel their way through the early moments of this final. We will see the first scrum, and there's some important people in here. George Dyer was huge in the round-robin game. Reece Marshall, how experienced is this guy? Samuel Matinga, huge year for Tasman. And as we spoke about a little bit earlier, set piece so important for Tasman. Here's their first chance to paint a picture in Nick Bryan's eyes.
Oh, it's a good, solid scrum from Waikato. Tasman trying to get a second shove, and just taking a moment to get it away. Ratima and Leuila sends it into touch. He's got a thunderous left boot, this guy. Amazing story, really. He was first spotted by Samoa when he was playing age group 19s at the Papatoetoe Club in Auckland. But he has been an absolute revelation for this Waikato team in this late in this competition, with Fletcher Smith, for one reason or another, reserves for him again tonight. Oh, yes, Riki Daveta, good strong run from the number 8. Now a little chip over the top from Chapman, but it's well read. And Tongia has made a good start to this game, although that kick straight down the throat of Andrew Newstub, and off he goes. Good footwork from the New Zealand 7-star. But a penalty. Good work at the breakdown. Mosesi. In fact, it was Finau. Sammy Penny Finau got in there, wins a penalty just as Tasman was starting to get some momentum going.
Yep, Sammy Penny Finau, the man who found himself over top of the ball, putting pressure on it. A big part of their success this year has been their ability there. D'Angelo Leuila will finally get a set piece down inside the half. Good pressure here. Hamilton Burr makes the tackle, and then just the release there. Just look how quick he is onto that ball, Taylor.
Oh, look, good long limbs as well. Sammy Penny Finau, who was an outstanding player last week in their semi-final win against Canterbury. He had a bit of a niggle coming off the field early, so it's good to see him fit and healthy for this one.
Reece Marshall, who scored a try for Taranaki in the final against Tasman a few years back. And here's Leuila. This is the threat that he brings. Such a strong runner through the hands to Tucker, and they're inside the 22. So first scoring opportunity of the game is going to go to Waikato. Ratima looks to the left, dipping pass. It's picked up low by Hamilton Burr. Now Lamb trying to hold him up is Strange, but it's there for Ratima. Finau this time making sure he hangs on to it. Player almost tipped up there too in the middle of that ruck. Rampling, powerful figure in the midfield. Tasman, I think, have turned this. Oh no, they had it right the first time, but I think they've gone in the second time and incurred a penalty.
Yeah, interesting too, because Nick Bryan originally said the turnover was fine. You could see Jacob Norris had got his hands on the ball and won it, and then fell in the middle of the ruck. He's saying you must maintain your body weight. You cannot just go off your feet. Good work here from Waikato to build the phases. Now he's won the ball and he's got to stay on his feet. It is a bit rough. You can see Nick Bryan say, no, play on, and then Cortez Ratima knocked it on, and then he changed his mind.
Waikato here have elected to go for the points, as you would with D'Angelo Leuila with 89.5% kicking accuracy. But this is what I mentioned just beforehand. Sammy Penny Finau came off early against Canterbury in their semi-final win last week with the exact same left foot niggle, and we're 8 minutes into the game and he's already receiving some attention, so he would be a huge loss if he does have to come off.
Le'uila kicking at 90%, and I can tell you, I was watching him before the game. He was pinging them over from halfway with ease. Perfect conditions for goal kicking. He's just 16, 17 metres in from touch to open the scoring in the final, and Waikato have the lead.
Yep. Appropriate that D'Angelo Le'uila is the one that puts us over, because look at this carry from him off the line-out. Just gets it into his hands. First 5 running that line. It's almost like Ma'anonu in the 10 jersey. Very important to Waikato is D'Angelo Le'uila, and he strikes first with the first point.
Time's on.
He's got such an incredible skill set to go with his obvious power. So Waikato with the lead. Nice high kick from Hunt, and Tucker not able to take it cleanly. It's grabbed by Strange. They're under advantage here. It won't last long. New Stub flinging it on. Hunt, big pass wide. Nice step from Regan Ware. Chopping back in field, and it's there for Louis Chapman. Out Tasman go to work. Tu'unga Fasi, nice ball from Nankivell away to Martinga, the prop. Tavatava Nawai heads back in field. Makaleo slipping the tackle of Reece Marshall, who came at him at a great rate of knots. And now look at the acceleration of Jacob Norris. Gets them to 5 metres from the line. But oh, there's some brilliant work at the breakdown from Jack Lamb. Unbelievably accurate under such pressure. Jack Lamb saves the day as Tasman were threatening the line.
Oh, how good has Jack Lamb been? He's spent plenty of time with Waikato in the past, then went overseas. Now he's back. We've seen him in action plenty of times for Manu Samoa, but how good was that steal?
Oh, this one hasn't gone out. No. It's not his best work. And Mitchell Hunt, well, he's going to take them on, almost throwing himself between tacklers.
No, he's not on the ball.
Chapman, well, Tasman just signs here that they're starting to get into some rhythm. Although that's rather disturbed, and who picks it up but Lamb? It's ripped away though by Nankivell, and then he loses it. Ball squirts out in the end on the Tasman side. So what an extraordinary sequence of events, and it's going to end up with a Waikato scrum.
Yeah, big passage of play there. Plenty of people putting their hands up trying to steal. Now, this is the first break from Jacob Norris. Great power in his legs to get through the tackle of Aidan Johnson, the captain. Now look at the work here from Jack Lamb. And then it's just a little bit later after this that Jack Lamb sniffs this one off the ground, and then Alex Nankivell rips it off him. From here, it's a comedy of errors, and we will find ourselves watching a scrum. But I absolutely love the energy that both teams have brought to this final.
Crouch. Binds.
And now we have a reset.
Okay.
Your second favourite thing.
There's a mark. Reset.
Well, Waikato, say, looking for their third title. It's been a fairly long time, both times between drinks. 1992, a famous, in moments infamous match over Otago. That was the first ever grand final of our national championship, and then they had to wait until 2006 to win against Wellington. Tasman, of course, back-to-back champions. Cortez Ratima and Le'uila floating it towards the touchline. Nicely taken. Oh boy, he's had to do well though to get away from Mosesi Dawai. Mitch Hunt. That's a great chase. Hunt thought he had time. He did not. Riki Raveta.
Who's it?
A frantic pace to this game as Louis Chapman bangs one up. Tavatava Nawai to chase, but that's easy. Oh, Tavatava Nawai had to have 2 goes to stop Le'uila. He's like trying to tackle a tang in a 10 jersey. Ratima Jacobson. Tasman, very good defensive side. Although they were on the wrong side against Waikato early in the year, 39-22. That one is Hunt. Again, taking it under pressure, but doing well. Waikato trying to flood the breakdown area, and they win a penalty.
Number 15. You're going straight on off your feet. 15 off his feet. No, 15.
And it is most of the penalties coming at ruck time against Tasman. A part they will definitely need to tidy up.
What are we doing?
5 penalties in total. It was about 8 minutes in when there was only 2.
Mark through here,
A couple more starting to creep through. D'Angelo Leawheeler does stare at the post. Now, look at the pressure here on Mitchell Hunt. Great kick chase from Mosese Dawai to get through. And it's just all of the kick chase pressure that Waikato are putting through that's starting to force a couple of issues. Then it goes to ruck time, and Waikato will punish you if you don't get it right. This time, Andrew Newstub finding his way off his feet, killing a contest. And D'Angelo Leawheeler will line up the post once more for the second time in this half.
And the referees also just walked over and spoke to the Tasman team and said, you're getting too many penalties already. Only 14 minutes into this match.
A man who grew up idolising Carlos Spencer. He'll have some fans of his own. Although that is a very rare miss for D'Angelo Leawheeler. And so Tasman will take the ball back to the 22 for a dropout. Hunt. Sending it down over halfway to Ryan Tongia, floating the pass into the middle of the park, and the ball goes high again. Hunt, and look at the chase from Liam Coombs Fabling. Oh, the crowd roaring. This is like the good old days for Waikato. Louis Chapman scragged and does well to hang on. But look at the fight from those Waikato forwards, and the crowd are loving this. All the crowd on this side of the field. That ball was lost, and the referee's playing advantage here. Well, there was a double knock. Chance for Tasman to break away, but the referee said there was a knock on each way. Boy, they are putting the heat on this man.
Yeah, you're 100% right. The legend that is Beaver Donald talked about it in the build-up, that you've got to pressure Mitch Hunt, and it's hard to do because in defence Tasman put him at the front of the line-out, but instead Waikato have turned up and said, you know what, we know a different way to pressure him. We're going to kick the ball to Mitch Hunt as many times as possible, and all of us in a red, yellow and black jersey are going to sprint and try and put a hit on him. So far, 3 times we have seen it work, and it's working a treat.
That's good homework from that Waikato side. As you said, they were kicking it to Mitch Hunt, and why wouldn't you? He's the most experienced player on that field. So you put him out under a high ball, everyone else is left scrambling in. Look, this Waikato side, there's so much to like about it. The home crowd has been going crazy. The cowbell's going wild. They've got off to such a flyer of a start.
Yeah, of course, restrictions on the crowd, so that's why there are no people on the far side of the stadium, but those that have been allowed in, they're in good voice.
Let's wait for the bind. I think we're binding too early.
The cowbells are out.
So wait for the bind call till we bind, and we're getting out of sync from there, right? Let's go.
Nice on call. Great balance. We same again.
Such a great time of the year as we get into summer in Aotearoa. There's one of the cowbells.
Second.
Wait for the bind call. Crouch.
But it almost feels like the old days when that roar goes up when the opposition stand
early.
Knee trembling under a high kick.
Blame your 9. Blame your 9. 3 went early.
A free kick to Tasman.
Please don't take the scrum option.
Yeah.
And here we go.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it's one of those parts, isn't it? After 2 resets, you give a free kick. and then all of a sudden, after marching them 10 metres backwards, we asked them to come back.
I was just getting sick of resetting the scrum.
Have another one. So a part of the game that will need to be tidied up. 3 resets so far, and apart from these, it's been a blinder.
Well, what they might be angling for is to win a penalty. You get a free kick.
Balance.
You take the scrum again. Might be looking for a penalty. But that could always backfire. Could go the other way. A lot of their good attack does come from scrums, Tasman. Louis Chapman, well, he went one way, then he got the call from Regan Ware to go the other. And you can see that Waikato defensive line getting ready to race up as they did so effectively when the teams met earlier in the year.
Use it!
Now Chapman hangs one high. We're giving chase, but Coombs Fabling has been outstanding in the air this year. Not a big man, but so much courage. Rampling, they come up quickly on him. Setner's in there fighting for it, but it's there for Ratama, quickly through the hands and chopped down as Hamilton Burr. Great tackle made by Tu'ungafasi, hurriedly back to Leuila, and the kick, and he's back in the action again. This time, not so much pressure on Mitch Hunt, and he clears it away to touch. A lot of kicking early on. It's very tactical.
How good is this guy in the air? Quality player, has played so many minutes for Waikato this year. It's only his second year in the team, Liam Coombs Fabling. 7 tries so far this season. Wouldn't be surprised to see his name. Let's pencil him in for 1 at least.
Well, he's not just a try scorer, and he's scored some brilliant tries, but he's very good in the air, as we've just seen, and a tigerish defender.
Both those players on the screen are without Super Rugby contracts at the moment, which is almost beyond belief, considering how good D'Angelo Leuila and Liam Coombs Fabling as well. 7 tries this season has been so good. We just got a bit of a stoppage at the moment. Isi Tu'ungafasi was receiving attention to his right shoulder. And speaking of Super Rugby contracts, he's left the Crusaders and will be joining Moana Pacifica. So a lot of movement happening here. But as I said before, it's criminal that those 2 players don't have Super Rugby contracts.
Let's go, boys. Let's go, lads.
A few in the game that have. Timothy Tavatawai is one who will play from Moana Pacifica. Of course, the 100's there. It's the 100th or the centenary this year of Waikato Rugby. Be a fitting end to it, wouldn't it, if they could win the title. Still an hour away from decision as they go to James Tucker, who's dragged to the ground. Coming away with it is Jacobson. And the pick and go, Marshall. Very physical approach in this game. Now a little chip kick through, but it's well read by Nankivell, and he's got the strength to wait for reinforcements to arrive. Waikato for a moment thought they were a sniff to turn that over. But at the moment, Waikato, they're forcing Tasman back. They're not allowing them the quick ball that they love, and they're making them work for every single metre. Antonio Chalfoun with the carry and the penalty.
You haven't got a single player on your feet. You haven't got a single player on your feet. Holding on.
Interesting one. Very interesting. James Tucker, if we talk about minutes played, just keeps going. 75 ball carries before he even turned up on the field. The most by any. Now D'Angelo Leuila will put his team deep inside the half of Tasman. But Nick Bryant said that because no one was on their feet, there's no ruck. Not necessarily supporting his body weight. It did look interesting at the time, but James Tucker, a workhorse. If we're going to give anyone a penalty, let's give one to him.
Well, they could have had a shot at goal, probably the favoured side of the field for Leuila, but they're going for the line out. They're about 12 metres from the corner flag. Still a trialist finalist, not a great throw, didn't look too straight.
No, Tatum.
The been a little bit lucky there, Waikato, but they've got it. And now they'll look to establish the drive. Going more across field at the moment. Just wiggling it one side to the other, looking to try and get something going. Now they're starting to edge ahead. Lamb, though, getting a little isolated, and that'll be a turnover. Patience on defence there, really the key for Tasman. Waiting for the moment to target the ball.
He's through the middle. He's through the middle, yeah.
Yeah, and in terms of momentum too, great start for the first 7 minutes from both teams, but since then it really does feel that Waikato are edging their way forward in terms of putting their hands up. It's only 22 minutes in, it's only early days, but a lot of things going their ways. Penalties conceded, Tasman giving plenty away that time there in Maul. I know it's a bit of a turnover, but also some pressure at scrum time from Waikato too. This will be an important scrum for Tasman as they do try and exit with a penalty off the back of a scrum. So if they can execute that, maybe there'll be a small change.
Waikato coach Ross Filippo, an All Black tourist. And it goes. And a penalty, well, that's a pressure reliever. Anything I'd say about Waikato at the moment, they're making a lot of the play, but they've missed a penalty, and they've turned down a penalty for a line-out drive that didn't work for them. So they have maybe missed the opportunity to build a bit of scoreboard pressure. Territory heavily favouring Waikato, though. Almost 75% of the game so far has been played in Tasman's half. That's a good clearance up to halfway from Mitch Hunt.
Okay.
2 whole minutes inside the 22, Waikato, and only 3 points to show for it. Makaleo with the throw. Strange. Well, he had 2 goes at it, but he brings it down. Oh, it's been ripped away by Finau. Leoila drills it down, and this is going to go touch and goal. Oh boy, that was close. That was close. But they'll have to come all the way back.
Yeah, just a few moments for D'Angelo Leoila off the boot. Now, Sami Pinifinau, you can see it gets juggled in the air. Then Sami Pinifinau reaches across, rips it out here. Look at the energy. And then from here, possible chance at a 50-22. Just a little bit too far for D'Angelo Leoila.
Yeah, having said that, though, the line-out was inside the half, so I don't think it would have counted. They passed it back from the line-out and then back to Leoila, and so it wouldn't have been a 50-22. It still would have been a heck of a kick. Just a word on what is coming up overnight. Can the Black Ferns finally get a win on tour? They play France and Castres at 3 o'clock, and then just in time for breakfast, France against the All Blacks, the end of the year for the men in black. Can they bounce back from that defeat against Ireland, against this massive French team in Paris? What a weekend to end the rugby year. Congratulations to Whanganui for winning the Lahore Cup, South Canterbury the Meads Cup, Taranaki the NPC Championship.
I know what you mean.
Just 3 big matches up for decisions, 2 test matches and this one.
Keep our binds up.
The locking combination, Tucker and Burr, they've had some injury issues there. Waikato, Lachlan McDonald in particular,
Crouch.
injured out of it. He'd been in such great form.
Sit.
Chapman puts it in and scampers away to the left. Little show of the ball, and he keeps going, and he's got it away to Regan Ware, sprinting for the corner, and in. Tasman strike against the run of play, and they hit the lead in the final.
And talking about momentum too, it wasn't too long ago that was all Waikato. We saw the stats all pressure from Waikato, then one little lapse in concentration, and Louis Chapman finds himself coming down the left side, starts to spin, starts to spot, just finds some space, and then a pin-perfect pass to Regan Ware, and the Hamilton boys' local product will score against his old team.
Oh, all that work was done by Louis Chapman. So deceptive with the ball in two hands. He faked with the inside ball, gave it out to Regan Ware, and what a finisher he is. Seen him do that plenty of times on the World 7 Series circuit, and what a pickup for this Tasman Markle side. And as you said, against the run of play, the Markle find themselves in front.
Yeah. Well, two players coming across, but the sheer speed meant they had no chance. So, Mitch Hunt, first shot of the game for him is a conversion. Well, he's not at the Aviva Stadium, that's for sure. Dead silence at the Aviva. An absolute cacophony of noise here at Waikato. And do you think it's put him off? Not on your life. What a kick. So Regan Ware, the man born in Tukuroa, with a brilliant try, the first of the final.
Yeah, and you're so used to seeing the likes of Finlay Christie, the bright red hair of Finlay doing that, but congratulations, Louis Chapman, you've had a great year and a great hand in that try there.
Tasman suddenly in front by 7-3. Strange goes up.
Yeah, it's inside. Use it!
And now Waikato maybe just ruining a little their inability to score from those early opportunities.
Yeah, you will know that Mitch Hunt does defend at the front of the lineup. Here he's on screen here. Last time they're in the same position, Waikato went wide and then switched back to target him. We have seen him being targeted in the air. Possible they might target him off the back of this as well.
So, Reece Marshall. Well, again, the throw didn't look all that straight, but...
Advantage.
And now they're going to get a penalty out of it.
Just too late on the sack.
Taken quickly by Marshall. Sets off downfield. Now it's been dropped by Ratima. Well, now you just sense a little bit of frustration starting to come into Waikato's play. They just didn't need to do that.
Down straight away, you're out.
And you could just see him say sorry to the Waikato teammates. You can see plenty of people around. He just spotted a gap and decided that he would be the one to give it. But we've seen how far D'Angelo Leawilla can kick. Line out close to the line would be the preferred option.
Oh, time off, he's getting through.
Just got a couple of players needing some attention here, I think, Taylor.
Yeah, I think again, it's Sami Penny being out on the left-hand side, and then also Tucker getting some attention as well. So, sorry, that's Dawai on the far side getting some attention, but it has been a physical game. It's been a fast-paced game as well.
That ball's pretty messy, eh? Just that.
And, you know, at the moment, it's a bit stagnant.
Stayed a whole lot connected either.
So, time off here.
One thing Tasman haven't been able to do is bring some of their strike weapons into the game. This man here, Lester Whainga Anuku, has carried over 1,000 metres in this competition. That is so far ahead of any other player, it's not funny. Either as a wing or a centre. Haven't really been able to get him into the game yet.
No, you're exactly right. Timothy Tawatawanawai as well. A big strike weapon for Tasman. 4 tries so far this year. Balin Sullivan was huge in that round-robin game in which Waikato got up. He's also been a little bit quiet as well. It has been the night of plenty of the wingers so far. And possibly as the game develops, as the game goes on, we'll start to see a lot more of those names in the midfield.
We spoke about the wingers as well. A lot of the scrums, both sides have elected to go to the blind side. And why wouldn't you when you've got things like Dava Nawai and things like that. But out to the left, they've got Mitch Hunt stacked out there and the rest of the team. Hopefully they'll bring They still find Manuku into this game. Competition top try scorer.
Oh, big scrum. Big scrum from the Mako.
Sorry, mate, yeah.
And Andrew Makaleo is quite happy about that, and a wry smile, Reece Marshall.
Okay.
What a character,
Andrew,
and what
Andrew.
an integral part of this Tasman machine, Andrew Makaleo is. Nick Bryan showing he has absolutely no sense of humour there.
If it backfire on you, though, if we see you do something back and it goes the other way, though.
And it looked powerful too. I'm unsure what happened there. They said a good hit, I could hear that. But just takes them apart, walks around the side, and Reece Marshall arcs up straight away. And James Tucker not happy.
Just a change in the feel of this game. Waikato were looking good and threatening for a long period. Good line-out work from Tasman. And here's Ziriki Daveto almost going in tandem with him, was playing a nuku. Now they spread it away to the right. Nice ball for Strange. Tamatama Nawai, who's just so good at bumping them off. Good support here too. Tasman coming back strongly now, although that's a loose pass and it's picked up by Balin Sullivan, and he'll go all the way. Just when Tasman looked to be taking control, Waikato straight back through Balin Sullivan.
And let's not forget just how important Balin Sullivan was earlier in the year, especially in the first half. Tackle after tackle he made, and then got the same opportunity and the same result. How good has Balin Sullivan's year been? Now, just bounced on the ground, left alone. Balin Sullivan high up in the line anyway, to ready to put a hit on. Spikes it, gets it, and will get Waikato over for their first try.
Oh, and he also created that opportunity for himself as well, didn't he? It was the line speed from the Waikato Mulu men. It put him in the right position. When the ball didn't go to hand, it was the perfect bounce, to be fair, for him as well. Bounced up straight into his hand. He was already on the fly. Super hard to turn around when someone's already on the go, and he was sure to go in under the sticks. Great try, great opportunist try.
Well, just what you need when it looked like the tables had turned. Waikato back in front by 10-7. The try by Balin Sullivan, converted by D'Angelo Leoila.
Yeah, King's College educated out of the Hamilton Maris Club. They'll be happy watching. Balin Sullivan we were talking about a little bit quiet, now has put himself into the game.
Well, it's amazing how sometimes an opportunist try, what it can do in a big game, a tight game. Finau, who's been in the wars a bit in this game, but he's done well. They'll go back to the 22, and it's Sullivan back in the action. And he's got a good boot on him too, although he hasn't found touch. Fielded by Newstub, and high in the air it goes from Hunt. Newstub giving chase. Oh, Sullivan, he's having a golden period at the moment, but they get a penalty. Well, that was clever play. They waited for him to come back to earth, and Segner and his mates got involved and won a penalty.
Yeah, Anton Segner, only 2 years out of Nelson College. Plenty heard about this man. Made his way over from Germany with the dream of a black jersey. Next year, that jersey will be blue. He is blues bound.
Don't know whether anyone will be watching in Frankfurt, where he comes from. If so, Guten Morgen.
He's definitely awoken as Sullivan, and you can see Anton Segner straight away onto the ball.
And there he is. Came here on a exchange student. When you're an exchange student, you're supposed to go back. He didn't. Well, so many of their tries come from a line out, and Waikato awake to that, have driven early here, so it's a penalty advantage. Makaleo trying to steer the ship. Now they start to go forward. Chapman trying to help get some of those Waikato forwards out of there. They're still going ahead. They're still under advantage too. Now here's Whainga Anuku. Goes into the tackle of Jacobson, squeezes it back between the legs. Segner. Dyer coming out all over him. Chapman, they switch it to Hunt on the left, has a little look, decides to step, and taken rather high, Referee's got Jacobson for that. Whainga Anuku. And there's a penalty here. Penalty count just starting to go the other way now.
Yeah, and this time Mitch Jacobson, when he was making the tackle, almost ragdolling Mitchell Hunt, found his arms around the neck of Mitchell Hunt, and you can see the last 5 penalties conceded, 4 of them out of 5 has started to even up with Waikato giving away a lot of penalties. In Tasman have chosen to take the shot. Waikato, you have seen that they've stopped. They will take the shot at this post, and if successful, will draw it up.
Four minutes to go, first half. Well, they might have thought about a scrum, having made mincemeat of the Waikato scrum the last time, but they've opted to take the 3. It's a tight final. It's what you want. Every point is going to be important. Again, keeping his concentration. Brave Tasman fans, fins up, 3 points, 10 all. It's a great story. You think back to 2008, Tasman was set to be chopped from the competition. What have they achieved since then? Leoila, it's nicely taken down though by Strange for Tasman. Tongafasi with the carry. Well, just a couple of moments left, or a couple of minutes left in the first half. And Chapman again puts up a high one. Tava Nawai bails out. Tongia had it covered. They'll go back, and Leoila sends a big kick down to the 22. Taken by Hunt, and once again he's absolutely bashed. He's nothing if not brave. He keeps putting up his hand. Now Antonio Chalfoun. Tasman, I don't think they'll want to muck around inside their own 22 here. Louis Chapman. And this time sends it out over the touchline. He's been very good this year, Louis Chapman, former head boy at Christchurch Boys High School. Here's Hunter Nelson, college man. And I'd say he'll be making good use of the ice bath after this game. Yeah,
well, let's not forget too, he was knocked out in last year's Premiership final, so although he's taken some heavy knocks, I bet he's still happy to still be on the field.
Marshall lobbing it down the back. It's not a great throw, and it's been lost coming through by Gideon Rampling. Andrew Makaleo. There's plenty of conversation going on out there.
Let's go, scrum. Sweet, thank you.
Andrew Makaleo made a career-defining move when he decided to head south and try his hand with Tasman. Of course, he's become a a Super Rugby regular. Here's a man with a big future. I think this guy, Greg Dyer, 21 years of age. Kane, looks good.
Sit.
Siren goes. Well, they've got to get it out of there. And no, they get a penalty. Well, here's an opportunity right on the stroke of half-time for Waikato to take the lead, and the man getting the pats on the back is George Dyer, I should say, not Greg, George Dyer.
Yeah, you're 100% right. You spoke of him just before that scrum, TJ, and he was the man that got the pats on the back. You can see hands on the hips. He's tired, and what a way to finish the half, earning your team a chance. Now he just takes the space in between. Space will not push back. There he goes, starting to split Isi Tuangafasi and Andrew Makaleo apart. Gets the goods there and has earned his team a chance to go into the lead, leading into the halftime.
It's a good confidence booster as well. Remember, as Tony Johnson said, the Mako have been making mincemeat of Waikato in the past few scrums, so heading into the break, this gives them good confidence.
Well, now Tasman ruining the fact that they could have got the ball in and out and into touch, but here's the kick to take the lead on the stroke of half-time. It's over, and Waikato lead Tasman 13-10 in the final.
Okay.
One try apiece and just 3 points separating the teams at half-time. Waikato in front by 13-10. Let's hear from their assistant coach, Reece Bayliss, who's with Taylor.
Reece, you find yourself up at the half. Probably could have had a bit more points with the amount of possession you had, though. What did you make of it?
Yeah, we definitely played in the right areas of the field. We were very mindful of that, keeping Tasman away from our 22 entry, but we should have come away with a few more points by the time that we had, yeah.
What have you asked for the second half?
Much of the same, but a little bit more of a controlled mindset and around building pressure. Building phases on this Tasman pack and going the distance.
What do you think Tasman are doing well to stay in this match?
They're living off little bits of our mistakes, a little defensive error on our part and just a few little handling errors. So that's what they're living off at the moment. If we can maintain that, we'll be right there.
Obviously, it's quite deafening during the game, hearing all the cowbells and things like that. What is it like being at home, especially in the centenary year in the final?
Mate, we didn't expect this at all. You know, 6-7 weeks on the road. We had no idea we'd be at home, and it's pretty awesome. The boys are fizzing.
Thank you, and good luck for the second half.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's to their great credit that they've found their way through to the final. They had to relocate, and nice opportunity to send a shout out to everyone who's made this competition even possible. The Sullivan family looking on there. I think Caleb Traskin shot there as well with his dad in the Waikato jersey, and boy, how proud they must be. Their two uber talented sons, Balin and Zahn, of course, who's with the Blues. But as I say, teams have had to adjust, they've had to relocate, they've had to rejig. Some teams didn't even make it. Counties Manukau, Auckland, North Harbour did everything they possibly could, but were not allowed to compete, and that's a great shame. But those teams who were able to play have made it another great competition.
Anything good? Just probably a bit of job of staying on your feet. That's all makes the picture easier.
We tried to talk about that.
Well, one of these teams, well, probably 40 minutes, maybe a bit more if we go to extra time. But sometime in the next hour, one of these teams is going to claim the trophy. Who's it going to be? It's Tasman kicking off a nice high-hanging kick, but taken down really well by James Tucker. Under a bit of a challenge. Tasman initially thought they had someone in the mix, but Reece Marshall smuggles it back. And they spread it to Tongia. Lumps the kick downfield and just got a little bit awkward. Well, Whainga Anuku just hasn't had an opportunity to get into the game. Almost upended there. Someone made a good adjustment there. Regan Ware Heading back in field. Oh, that's a great turnover, and it's Sullivan. Well, what a game he is having. Loose ball, but Leoila was patient, then got a beautiful ball away to Tongia. Now Dawai breaks the first one, then puts a foot into touch. He's angry with himself for going out.
What a start from Waikato. Just the work here on the ground from Bailyn Sullivan, straight onto it, straight, lifted up. And then D'Angelo Leoila, seen the magic inside pass to Ryan Tongia. And then the pass outside to Mosese Dawai, just tackled out here. Good work from Jacob Norris to get him out, but a great start from Waikato.
We've also had a substitution at half-time. Team number 18, Seppo Kotai, he comes on and replaces George Dyer, who I thought had a great game in the scrummaging machine.
Probably covering from the fact that I called him Greg. What an insult. Greg Dyer, name will live in infamy in New Zealand cricket.
That's one. Stay back, no, stay.
There's the headline, Dyer, you're a liar.
Okay, you're going to have to play that.
A long time ago, that.
Stay back. Where we go?
George has left the field and he's been very good. Tasman have got the ball. Here's Nankivell. Played plenty of rugby on this ground and he breaks through on halfway. Gets a lovely ball away to Hunt. So Tasman go on to the attack now. It's there for Louis Chapman. Through the hands. Here's Whainga Anuku. A good tackle made by Jacobson. Had to be made. The ever-threatening. Now they go wide. Chapman has it. Swings it away. Nankivell drops it onto the left foot and rolls along the touchline and into touch inside the 22.
And the energy hasn't stopped. It's definitely carried over from the first half. Alex Nankivell does make this break, just steps through a left shoulder of Reece Marshall. Jack Lamb always working hard, and Mitch Hunt, he's been quality too. Has been put under pressure. He's not a big man, but plays in great spirit of the game.
Well, now chance for Tasman maybe to challenge the line out, and they do.
Tackle's good.
It was strange, but Hamilton Burr, the man from Aberdeen, brings it to ground. Chapman punches it down the touchline, and a bit of respite. Sorry, not Chapman, Cortez Ratima. Strange. Well, they go over the top to Tawatawa Nawai. Such an elusive run. A good ball away to Segner too. They keep it going. Nankivell. Tasman looking threatening. Can they turn it into points? Just a little bit of confusion over who was going to clear it. Viriki Daveta. Norris inside the 22. Chapman quickly through the hands. Oh, a little dummy there from Makaleo, and then powers ahead in the tackle. They're 5 out from the line now, Tasman. Hunt wheeling in the tackle is Whainga Anuku. Still there for Tasman. Now Sam Martenga stretching out to the 5-metre mark. And the referee's playing advantage. Well, they've got numbers away to the left. It's slow ball. Hunt, well, he thought about a kick through in the end. Well, a rather hopeful nudge straight into the hands of Ryan Tongia. So penalty right out in front now.
Roll away. Can't beat on that side.
Yeah, this will be the first chance for Tasman to put some points on the board. Great work in the carries. Timothy Tawatawanawai did kick it off. And it did start from this line out here. Timothy Tawatawanawai makes a small break, a couple of interchanges and passes. Anton Segner spots Alex Nankivell as well, who has been good. There has just been a couple of moments, though, this Andrew Makaleo, this was a dummy, and then it went wide from here. Lester Whainga Anuku for the second time, and the movement just didn't pass the ball on when it needed to. If there's anything that possibly needed to change in those couple of movements, was just another pass from Lester. I know he hasn't been as involved in this game so far, probably trying to make up with it with some carries, but if those passes were let go, possibly some pay on the outside.
Well, they'll have to look for payment in the form of 3 points to level the score. Hunt over 75%. 118 points for the season. They haven't put him off so far. And they still haven't put him off. Scores are level. 6 minutes into the second half. It's 13 all in the final. What a beautiful evening as we look over the Whatanoa gate, the far end of the ground into that beautiful sunset away in the west. Oh, Quinn Strange from the restart, threading his way through, and Chapman again banging it high, coming forward, taking it nicely. Tongia spotted some space at the back, but he's kicked it to Whainga Anuka. You don't really want to be doing that, although they're going to force him towards the touchline, and he does well to let go of it. Well, the referee said the ball was out. Hamilton Burr doesn't need a second invitation. Tasman is having to fight to bring things under control here, but they've got the ball. Diriki Taveta, the number 8, just used him to punch it up. Now Chapman arrives. He'll put it high, no doubt. Here it goes. Nawai coming forward, he's missed it completely, and it's snapped up by Tava Nawai. The two Fijians marking each other down that side of the field. Big pass into centre field, Nankiville. Oh, they've done it again! Sullivan's going to get a double!
Advantage is over.
Action replay!
Time and space to play the ball is advantage over.
He called advantage over. And Balin Sullivan has pounced again.
Yeah, and you can hear Tasman blowing up. They're not happy. But you've just got to keep playing to the whistle. And if there is one man that will keep doing that, that is Balin Sullivan. 2 times he has seen the ball on the ground. Now, have they made advantage? No, they probably haven't, but Balin Sullivan is playing to the whistle. He sees that ball on the ground for the second time and will sprint it into the arms of his teammates and dot that one down.
Oh, you got to look at Gideon Rampling as well. It was his line speed. He got up, he disrupted the pass from Alex Nankiville, and again, opportunist try to Balin Sullivan, but why not? He's got the pace, he had the hands to collect the ball. Fantastic individual try.
The kick goes over. A double for Balin Sullivan. Almost carbon copies.
Is 11 gone? Okay, so we're good to go?
Well, he just called advantage over. It was not a penalty advantage, and so they don't tend to last long. And how often does it happen? 20-13. It's the biggest lead either side have had in the game, and Dad's as happy as can be.
Another substitution for Waikato. Bodine Waka is coming onto the field, the former New Zealand Sevens player, playing in the Major League Rugby competition. He replaces Mosese Tawai.
Tucker gets a loft again. Marshall in the back of the maul, feeds it back to Ratima onto the left foot, floating infield. The chasers are all there. Oh, what a great take from Newstub, and might have been taken in the air there, scrapping his way forward. And Chapman goes to the short side, Hunt trying to thread his way through. Now Chapman again. Martin are looking for the offload. Chapman is there. Well, he's the man who seems to be sparking them at the moment. Waikato very close to turning that over. Now Tasman, they'll need to look after it. Oh, that's a forward pass, surely. The referee says play on. Regan Ware cashes in with a run inside the 22. And now the referee's playing advantage to Tasman. Nankiville trying to jab one through, and they'll get the penalty.
Yeah, you can see Mitch Hunt not happy too.
4.
He was at the back of one of the rucks just before. Someone absolutely cleaned him out in the back.
Sorry. Yeah, sort that
now
out.
Waikato have found themselves offside.
Time off. Where are we, Ken? Here.
There is an issue. It looks like Shane McDermott has called something through the TMO.
Okay, it's here.
I don't know if they're going to look at it.
Yeah, number 4. Never got back.
No, well, he's called the penalty advantage against James Tucker.
Sweet. Yeah, it's definitely blood.
A couple of players receiving some attention.
Yeah, it looks like George Dyer has come back onto the field.
No one's called any foul play.
So, looked like just for a blood bin there, and there's been a change as well. 17-4-1.
Yeah.
So Luka Inch has come on for Isi Tungawhasi.
Oh, that's what you were talking about, Mitch Hunt. I don't know that Tucker had any right to be playing him that way.
No. Just standing at the back of a ruck, you can see. I think that could be what the penalty ended up being for in the end. So Sefo Kotai's been in the wars.
No.
A little bit earlier, tackle close to the sideline. Plenty of people ended on top of him. He's holding his ribs ever since. Add insult to injuries. Somehow cut his head open. So he will make his way to the sideline. George Dyer at the start of the first half will make his way back on. And James Tucker, living life on the edge, is the most penalised Waikato player.
Time's back on.
Add another one to that list.
Kane, another really big moment, someone who's just snuck onto the field quietly in what shouldn't be a quiet occasion. Quentin Mcdonald has taken the field in his 100th game, made his debut in 2007, and at the age of 33 years old is playing some of the best rugby of his life. 100 games, congratulations to Quentin Mcdonald. Yeah,
100 games. There's only 3 out of Tasman to do so. Robbie Melnick, Alex Ainley, and now number 3, Quentin Mcdonald. His family will be very proud, his school, Marlborough Boys, his club, the Central Club out of Blenheim. Congratulations on all your success, Quentin. And I know the Tasman region are all very proud of you.
Well, can Mitch Hunt draw him closer? They keep trying to put him off. Boy, he's been copping it physically. He's been getting an earful from the crowd. And finally, he's missed one. Never really hit it. He gets a big roar from the crowd. He really has been targeted tonight by both the Waikato players and fans alike. Cheap shot from James Tucker goes unpunished.
Time's off.
Another substitution happening for Waikato. It's all happening with the front rowers at the moment. Ollie Norris, he comes onto the field. Started last week's game in place of Aidan Johnston, who was injured. So the captain comes to the bench and he's had a good shift.
Oh, the kick floating down over halfway. Taba Nawai. They keep trying to get Whanga and Nuku into the game.
Use it!
So here's the new man, Luka Inch. And from Motueka.
Use it!
The young player, Chapman, will bang it high. Oh, Tasman missing the opportunity from the penalty. Rempling, nothing really on, so he lobs it downfield. Now the referee says we'll come back. There was a knock on by Tasman.
Yeah, advantage must be clear and real. It can be territory or it can be tactical. That time a 30-metre kick down the field, not enough.
Yeah, Waikato, a strong second half team, although Tasman tend to be a side that muscles up really well in defence on the last quarter, so one of those stats is going to come to the fore. At the moment, it's Waikato. They've scored the second half try from Balin Sullivan.
Bites! Sit!
Tasman trying to put the heat on, but Waikato come out of it okay. Now a long kick. And Taba Nawai, well, it's not going to go all the way to the dead ball line, so he's got to bring it out. And under a bit of pressure, skies the kick in field. Luila away to Tongia. Crowd start to roar again as Tongia brings it forward from the backfield. Tava Nawai looking to contest. Good work, though, from Tucker to make sure he can't latch onto it. Now Norris looking for an offload. No, wisely held onto it. Yeah, penalty.
On the side.
Side entry. I think it was
from their
Final.
side. Number 6.
He has had a good night, mostly earning turnovers and penalties for the Waikato side that time. Right in front of Nick Bryan, just slight entry, unfair to contesting players from the Tasman side. Mitch Hunt will look to calm things down. Now, it's one of those prerequisites I almost feel all outside backs should learn in terms of the law. If Timothy Tava Nawai had let that get closer to the dead ball line, it would have been a scrum all the way back. Chose not to. Now, Quint Strange, how important is this guy?
Well, he couldn't risk it, though, could he? If it hadn't gone dead, he was in a world of trouble because would have been a goal line dropout. Well, Tasman have it, and final. And look, this time changing the angle. They've looked after the threat very well. Diriki Raveta, good tackle again from Tucker. What a work rate he's got. Now, Norris. Brothers in opposite teams tonight. Hunt, try to spread it. Nankerville just ducking under a slightly high one. No way through there for Chapman. He bumped into the ref, so they'll have to have a scrum.
The suffocating defence of Waikato. It didn't look as prevalent in the first half, but now they're definitely starting to get in to the rhythm of their line speed. The coaches will be happy. Andrew Goodman, you can see, possibly not as happy as Ross Filippo at the moment. Just a couple of mistakes to work out.
A substitution in the front row, I think, here, Taylor.
Yep, Isaac Salmon, who played in last year's final, he comes on for Sam Martinga, who's had a great game, and we've just got a bit of a stoppage at the moment because Quentin Strange was clutching his head for a bit, took a knee. You can see Lester Wanga-Anuku receiving some attention as well, but you've both hit it on the head. They've just been taken out of the game, and that's good work by that man right there, identifying the threats in Lester, Mitchell Hunt, and making sure that they're kept busy and out of this match.
Well, it's such a great breeding ground for the incredible vein of talent that keeps coming through New Zealand talent rugby. But what about the coaches that are coming through? Well, he's not such a young fella, that one on the left there, Liam Messam. If he comes on, it'll be his 99th. But Ross Filippo, who's such a respected player, but making a really strong impression as he takes over this Waikato team. There's Andrew Goodman, who really came through the system, working under the likes of Kieran Kane, Leon McDonald at Tasman, Matthew Cooper. Talking of legends.
Boys, stay down, hold your balance, come on.
Dwayne Monkley, even legender.
Both teams, come on.
Unluckiest man not to be an All Black, that's for sure. Of course, the Dwayne Monkley medal will be awarded to the outstanding player from this competition.
Sit.
Tasman scrum is solid, and they go to New Start. Grubbers the kick through, trying to turn them around, going back as Waka. Tongia does well, but then gets the kick partially charged by Tava Nawai. It will be a Waikato throw, but it'll be close to their own goal line.
10. 10.
This is a really big change happening right now. The man we've been speaking about all night, D'Angelo Le'uila, he is coming to the bench and is being replaced by Fletcher Smith.
He played such a huge role in getting them here, D'Angelo Le'uila, but let's not forget Fletcher Smith.
Come on.
It really has been the fulcrum of this team. Lobbed over the back, and Finau was there, almost lost it in contact. Ratima, back it goes, first touch for Smith, nice contact, he's put it into touch. So one very good left boot replaced by another. Well, I'm not sure whether you describe Leawila as a boot. It's more like a cannon. Tasman win quick line-out ball. Hunt flinging it wide, and now a drop in midfield by Nankivell. These mistakes are adding up. They're costing Tasman. Those mistakes in the middle of the field, that's where their game is floundering.
And you can just start to sense the tension building almost for both sides. Changes are starting to be made. Mistakes are starting to creep in. Reece Marshall, he's been good tonight. James Tucker, physical as always. Such a war horse, and you can see the number 3 of George Dyer has made his way back onto the field. Waikato have been very strong in the pack, very strong in the forwards. Jack Lamb, Manu Samoa capped. Tons of experience, and you can see that starting to shine through.
Jack Lamb, who played 7 matches for Tasman back in 2008.
Binds.
Been around.
Sit.
Got him up, taking it nice and flat with Smith, floating a good pass away. Oh, floating, Waka, absolutely pile driver of a tackle from Tavatava Nawai. And Alex Nankivell more than makes amends for his mistake by stealing it at the breakdown. Tavatava Nawai, man, did he hit him.
Powerful. Now they do want to have a look. Now, the crowd are happy that they're having a look.
Cam Stone thinks he's seen some foul play here.
Now, if you hit someone with enough force for them to bounce off, it doesn't mean you haven't wrapped your arms. Is there an attempt to wrap his arms? Is his left arm leading and his right arm coming around, and now he's
wrapping with his left. He's sort of tucked his...
No, there's no tuck. Don't look for a tuck that isn't there. Both arms are starting to make their way around.
Well, I think if they go for a penalty here, it's going to be a tough call. I think it's just a good tackle, isn't it?
Yep, and the referees are in agreement with you as well. They've just said there's nothing in that. He's tried to wrap, so good call at the end of the day. And as you said, Kane Hames, you know, he went flying off him, but it doesn't mean it was a shoulder charge. You just can't get around to wrap when you're coming in at that speed. But he's had a phenomenal season as Tavatava Nawai. 82 carries. 6. That's 6 in the whole competition. You think about all the forwards who carry it in ruck after ruck, and that man is sitting in 6th with the most carries. So he knows how to keep himself busy on attack and defence.
Yeah, Timothy Tavatava Nawai. Here's the shot again. Bang. I love that. In Nausori, in Fiji. Bula Vanaka. Hope you're enjoying it. You're watching in Samoa, Talofa Lava, Tonga, Māloi Lele. And of course, around New Zealand, kia ora koutou. Now Segner with a line-out drive. They'll have to keep this moving. If it collapses and they can't get it out, it'll be a turnover, and it is. It was a good, strong drive, but they just couldn't free it up. Segner got in the front of them all, and no way he was going to be able to funnel that back.
Yeah, there's so many layers to this too. Ollie Norris was the man that wrapped him up. And you can see he blows a kiss to his brother on the other side. So many layers, like I said, in this game. Ollie Norris, the brother of Jacob Norris, the number 6 on the other side. There he is, sharing the field together. They both went to St. Peter's in Cambridge. Both starting to share this final together. There'll be tears for one, an absolute elation for the other, but still a happy moment for their family and plenty of pride to take from that.
Change in hooker as well. Stephen Misa has come on for Reece Marshall, and Sepul Kotai has come back onto the field in jersey 29.
Penalty.
No, that's soft. Come on.
Again.
You got to take that hit. You just
The
fade it.
smiles break out on the front row faces. This time, Waikato. They've been penalised a couple of times for their engagement, Tasman. But now, 61 minutes on the clock, and the finish line is starting to come into sight. Tucker who again has just got through a mountain of work. Hamilton Bird looking very pensive in front of him. And that wasn't straight. Well, they've been dancing with it all night, and this time they've finally been pinged.
No,
Misa.
right out, eh? It's a long way out. Come on, hey, Quentin, what are you doing?
Yeah, and with the tension comes a little bit of niggle as well. Not as free-flowing as it has been for the first 15 minutes. A couple of mistakes creeping in, a couple of set-piece issues.
Balance, hold the hips.
18 minutes to go in, which is such a tense final. A couple of opportunist tries to Bale and Sullivan.
Crouch!
Great try from Regan Ware.
Binds.
Plenty of action to come from Leicester Whainga'anuku.
Sit!
Well, does he still have a part to play in this game? The front rows go down, and this time the advantage is to Tasman. And Nankivell, nice shape to their attack. New Stub gets through the tackle of Coombs Fabling and almost through the tackle of Sullivan as well. Plucked out by Chapman. He's called the advantage over.
Advantage is over.
And that's usually spells disaster for Tasman in this game, but no. They bring it out. McDonald quickly through the hands. Whainga'anuku, Tawanawai starting to accelerate. Tackle made by Norris. He did well to get out and collar the winger. Diriki Raveta crunching into the defence.
First man, he's fine.
Waikato have turned it over though. And Ratima bangs it away. And a touch. No, it was out on the full cam. Yep, back you go.
Oh, and Sammy Penny-Finau. His hands are on his head. This is the break a little bit earlier. Alex Nankivell passes to New Stub. Just spins out of the Liam Coombs Fabling. Tackle is one part of the games that Liam Coombs Fabling probably needs to fix. And then from here, Sammy Penny-Finau. Great work over the ball. Such a talent.
So McDonald will throw. Isaac Salmon there behind Strange. They go off the top. And again, Whainga'anuku, but they're ready for him. Well, they've targeted a couple of players at Waikato. Firstly, Mitch Hunt with some very aggressive play, but also they have absolutely made it a mission statement to wrap up Leicester Whainga'anuku. Can they keep doing it? Shalfoon carries it inside the 22. Diriki Raveta waits for it. Doug brushes off the tackle of Norris, leaves the ball behind him though. Handling error, turnover, and Waikato chance to get out of trouble. Tongia, pass goes back, Smith onto the right foot. And again clears for touch. Well, deeper into the game we go now, and the score remains at 20-13.
Yeah, you can just see Sasefo Kotai coming, and he's having issues again. It looks like that injury did come a little bit earlier, and it's tough to scrum when your ribs are shot. And you can see there's plenty of padding already there, so he's walked into the game with it. Plays for the Brumbies alongside James Tucker, who I hear is making a move. In terms of Super Rugby franchises, Sasefo Kotai makes his way off.
Yeah, plenty of changes happening for the Tasman Mako. Hugh Renton and Max Hicks come onto the field, and they replace Antonio Shalfoon and Didi Kaveta. And then Levi Aumua, now he is a game changer. He is the one that secured the turnover last week to dash the hopes of Hawke's Bay, and he comes onto the field for Timothy Tawanawai. So I would assume Leicester Whainga'anuku moves out to the wing, and Levi goes into the midfield.
Just a reminder of the international doubleheader Sunday morning. Black Ferns trying to end their tour with a win in Castor, and then at 9 o'clock, join us for le finale.
Waikato step.
Stade de France, I should say, in Paris.
Step across.
Last test of the year for the All Blacks.
Next time it's a free kick step. I'll bring them up to the line out.
And Tony, again, Sefo Kotai has come to the field, and George Dyer back on, so he doesn't want to leave the pitch. This
time they go to Strange. And Almua immediately crunching run. Renton into the game. That's the 22 on the right of screen. Look how quickly they get up though, Waikato. This time on to Mcdonald, and well, advantage being played. Tasman will try and make hay here. 3 points would be good, 7 would be a whole lot better. And now the change of angle, Almua brushing them off the big man.
Advantage is over.
Referee says advantage over as he steams inside the 22. Mcdonald. Good leg drive to the 5 metre mark. Chapman is there. Now the wind up from Inch. They pop it up. Hicks is there, just a metre from the line. Tasman looking to get themselves back into the final, and they're in. And it's Quentin Strange who goes over, puts the fin up. A chance now to level.
And the fin goes up immediately, and he makes his way to halfway. He knows how important it is, but as if this kick goes over, all it does is draw it up and sets up a tense, absolutely tense 12 minutes to finish this game. This is the initial break. Levi Almua, 2 carries since he's been on the field, and both of them have been good. Could have passed it just a little bit there, but it doesn't matter. From here, they build phases, and Quinn Strange spots a gap, makes his way through, and has scored an important try for Tasman.
Conversion is good. It's 20 all. We're all locked up. 13 to play in Hamilton.
It's exactly who I said would be a big game breaker, and it was Levi Almua. Here is the end of it, a great pass to get in between the two people for Quentin Strange, but Levi Almua, outstanding, outstanding player, hard runner. And talking about big game players, a big change for Waikato. As you alluded to before, Tony Johnson, Liam Messam comes onto the field for his 99th provincial rugby game, All Black number 1082. Gets to come back next year to get his 100th.
He'll be back.
Fletcher Smith sends the ball high down. Oh, just a little bit of miscommunication there before Renton says, I'll take it. He thought someone else was going to. Now, high kick from Hunt. Coming down on the 10. Coombs Fabling doesn't take it. I think it's gone backwards, though. Swarming through Tasman. Almua. Ball squirts out the back. Now, it's a little bit awkward at the moment for Waikato. Now they bring it under control. Smith flinging it wide, and here's Messam. A man actually born in Tasman country, in Blenheim, but of course such a stalwart. Firstly, schools rugby in Rotorua, and now for Waikato, the Chiefs. Tasman have turnover possession. Almua. Well, here's an opportunity here now for Tasman to launch an attack from just inside the half. Oh, again, though, brilliant work over the ball at the breakdown. And Ollie Norris says to his brother, you might be the flanker, but I'll win the penalty at the breakdown.
It's a big skill that Ollie Norris brings to the game for the Māori All Blacks as well. He did that against Manu Samoa. It's a strength of both the Norris brothers' game.
Well, so now it's going to be Waikato who get the opportunity. Not a long kick, though, from Fletcher Smith. In fact, the assistant on the far side had to run an awful long way back to put the flag up. Misa, he needs to get this one on target. That's what happens if we're still locked up 10.5 minutes from now. 10 minutes of extra time. Well, Messam got a hand to it. Rampling. Now Lamb. Good protection of the ball from Waikato. Ratima didn't have anyone to pass it to. He's done well, though. Drop, though, by Tucker. No harm done. Tasman coming through. Rampling has to pick it up and breaks through a couple of tackles. Referee playing advantage. Segner's got in though, and he's ripped it away. But no penalty. And this one right out in front for Fletcher Smith.
Not supporting your body weight. He's gone right over to his forearms. Just here.
Anton Segner, the man penalised, not supporting his body weight. And Fletcher Smith now with a chance to put Waikato in front.
You heard Nick Berry say he was on his forearms. Now he's on the ball there, definitely clear picture. Not supporting his body weight. And we have seen a couple of those pictures, not always picked up, but Nick Bryant was there, he spotted it. Waikato right out in front have a chance.
Well, Fletcher Smith, who was actually born in Nelson, received his early education at Nelson College before heading off down to Christchurch to finish off his schooling. And he's been an outstanding acquisition. Able to kick so well off either foot, but of course a place kicker with the right foot. And this one to put Waikato in front, and he's done it. Just over 8 minutes to go, and the home team hit the lead again.
A substitution here for the Waikato, Te Toiroa Tahuriorangi, a very popular name in this part of the country. Former Chiefs player now heading to the Crusaders. He makes his debut for Waikato. I know it raised eyebrows, but it's a safety thing. He's the only halfback available who has been playing physical rugby.
Well, the ball goes out just beyond the 22. Yes, it's come from the fact that Waikato were based in the Bay of Plenty. They had two halfbacks go down with injury. There was no one available who played rugby in recent times, and the only person that they were able to call on under the conditions that they're playing in was Te Toiroa Tahuriorangi. So just a couple of weeks after playing for Bay of Plenty, plays for Waikato. I know it's a strange one.
We'll go here, that's good.
Tasman's attitude towards it, well, we can't control it. We've just got to concentrate on what we're doing. And what they're doing is trying to win the final. Hunt trying to step his way through. Wrestled to the ground by Stephen Misa. Chapman now away to Renton. Well, they'll work away. Patience the key here now. They know one strike could be all it takes. Strange. Oh, Norris again making a real nuisance of himself. Ball flung wide, and there's space here now. But the pass is not good, and it's picked up by Liam Coombs-Fabling. Dumps it away downfield. Well, again, looking to profit from a Tasman error. Newstub, well, thought about the pass. Instead goes for the kick. Coombs-Fabling is there. And back you go, says Balin Sullivan. Well, Hunt runs it back. They clear the hole. Lovely hands from Mcdonald. Desperation times in the final. Renton with the carry. Chapman remains calm. High kick, and the chase is good. No, knocked on by Tasman. Picked up and offloaded by Sullivan. Renton with hands on the ball has to take his hands away. Misa.
Just stay with you.
Tahuriorangi first kick as a Waikato man. And it's a contestable one for sure. And storming through and grabbing it is Norris. He's just having a sensational game. Messam now with the pass. Oh, brilliant ball into space. Here's the chance to put the final out of reach. Rentling didn't throw the pass though. Oh, he had a man outside him, Tongia. Ball still there for Waikato. Steaming through the middle. It's Samuel Penny-Finau, and that might just be the winner. Referee wants a look. Referee wants a look. Hold the tickets.
Jeff, are you there? I just want to check and make sure there wasn't a knock-on following that kick over about on the 40-metre line, mate. On-field try, check for knock-on, please.
Well, the fate of the final might well hang on this decision by TMO Shane McDermott.
Back there. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it was, mate, yeah.
Now, remembering back to this kick, I do believe there was an advantage after Lester Whainga-Anuku knocked the ball on. The question is, on the back of that, did a Waikato player knock it on? Liam Coombs-Fabling, if he's touched that ball.
Oh, did he get a finger on it? Or was that just gone straight through the hands? It's got to be clear and obvious. I'm not sure that is. Any bending of the fingers? Well, that might be the best clean miss of his life.
Huh?
If it is a clean miss.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's tight. Close to it. Yeah, mate. Okay. No
Oh,
scrum.
he's
No
called
try.
it! He's
Knock
called
on.
it! Crowd don't like it.
Yeah.
Ball certainly
That was a 10
passed
line, wasn't
through the hands, and he's decided, Shane McDermott, that he got a hand. Oh, boy, that's a big call.
Yeah, it is a big call too, because Sammy Penny Finau, who's had a huge game, Liam Coombs-Fabling, who's been tidy all year.
Okay, I'll come this side.
Again, I just used those words, clear and obvious. Shane McDermott had to decide. You've seen it at home. How big a talking point's that going to be?
Ollie Norris, how good has he been since he's been on?
Buns!
Oh, take a breath, everyone. Final is still up for grabs. Front rows go down. Penalty. Penalty Waikato. They get a penalty out of it in the end.
He's just overextended.
And another chance to finish the job off.
Overextended and collapsed.
Apart from one scrum late in the first half, Waikato certainly have had the edge. What are they going to do? They're going to go for touch. Would have been a challenging kick. Instead, I think what they want to do is secure the ball at the right end of the field and hang on and win it.
Sorry,
Yep, you're right, they're ahead. And Taylor, there are some subs coming on.
Yeah, big moment for hometown boy Noah Hotham. He replaces Louis Chapman, who's been outstanding. Two young men we've seen throughout the years on Land Rover First 15 Rugby, Hamilton Boys High School, the factory, and number 23 as well. Number 22, Macca Springer, he comes on for New Stuff.
Now, Waikato don't need to score. They're already ahead. They will look to secure this, play some slow rucks, and just keep the ball in their possession, because that's what they need to do to win this final.
Well, Misa needs to get the throw right. They go to Lamb. What a game he's had. 2.5 minutes on the clock. They're going backwards, but they've got the ball. Tahuri Urangi, well, coming through the middle, Renton. Tahuri Urangi gets it away. Rampling sets off. Leaves it behind him. Now Messam. Ball coming for Waikato. Just over 2 minutes to play. Can they hang on and win it for the first time since 2006? Finau denied a try that can play a key role in closing the game out.
No, Red, out.
Tasman have to bail out. Well, they're where they want to be. They've got the ball. Almost a knock forward. Well, Tahuri Orangi as good a ringing as you could hope for in these sorts of circumstances. Inside the last 90 seconds. And they get the penalty. While they were patient, they were accurate, and now they're going to get the reward. This will be it.
And just look how happy the Waikato faithful are. Happy to be out of the lockdown restrictions.
That time's right, guys. 19 inside.
They're going to go for another line out. Boy, this is bold.
I agree with it. 100% agree with it.
Can you hear me, Ken?
Kick it to the sideline, and if Tasman do get a turnover, they've got 95 minutes to work. But judging by the way that Waikato have been going, they will walk their way into this line out.
Number 8,
Rupini Tamani comes on to the field, and that is the bench cleared, and he replaces Jack Lamb, the Manu Samoa stalwart, 38 games for them, and he's had an outstanding match. But this is going to be a big last minute. They need to get this ball back.
Well, it might go down as the Balin Sullivan final, but so many other strong hands. Misa is just got to get this on target. He does. They take it down, miss him. Who else would you want with his hands on the ball? Misa has ripped it away. Tauri Orangi rampling. Well, they're going to keep attacking. Tasman trying to get hands on the ball. Time almost up on the final. It's been a long time coming from the Mooloos. But now they're just seconds away. Ball on the ground. One more ruck. Misa takes it to ground. And Tucker now swings it away. The Mooloo charging. Oh no, it's a penalty. It's not over yet.
But judging by the body language, it looks like the Mako are spent.
Well, they've got time for a line out. Oh, what drama have we got left in this one? They're going to get one shot at the three-peat here, Tasman. It's been an exhausting night. The siren finally goes. They've got to secure the line out. Do that, and there's still a chance at pulling off something quite astonishing. They go to the front, and Norris. Waikato looking to drive around.
It's your own man on the ground.
Well, the ball's there on the back. Advantage, so they're going to get another piggyback downfield. Well, how long's the advantage going to last? The kick down to Tungia. It was important to take that. He's booted it away in a touch, but they'll have to go all the way back for another penalty. Well, you don't want to let them get too close to your line, Tasman, because they are the masters of the line-out drive.
Yeah, and it's frustrating too. James Tucker, for all the good that he does, 75 ball carriers before even entering this match, 137 tackles, but if there's one area he gives away most of his penalties, it's there in the side at the maul, and he's the most penalised Waikato player. Now, he has been an absolute soldier tonight. I would hate for that to be the black mark on his career, because Tasman, through the boot of Mitch Hunt, have just put them within 30 metres of the line.
And remember, it doesn't have to be a try as well. All they need is 3 points to force extra time, so they're in the right end of the field. Discipline is huge here for Waikato.
If I was Tasman, I would give the ball to Levi Omua as many times as possible.
So Mcdonald, will Waikato contest the line out? Oh, it's a loose one. Not going to be denied. Mitch Jacobson puts it into touch. And in their 100th year, Waikato are the champions of New Zealand rugby.
And look at the energy, 100 years of storied success. Ranfurly Shields, a factory of All Blacks, 100 years of celebrations, and now, again, your NPC champions.
Oh, disappointment, of course. Huge disappointment for Tasman. Their reign as the champions is over after 2 successive titles. And they had a great chance, but they were denied. And Waikato, what a year it has been. 100th year. The celebrations could not have ended on a brighter note. And you've got to say they are worthy champions. Just the 3rd time they have won it. So many heroes out there. Balin Sullivan, the 2 tries. Lamb was fantastic. Finau was fantastic. The front rowers played so well. Well, let's head down to the sideline now. And one of the stars of the match for Waikato and the season, D'Angelo Liuila, is with Taylor Johnson.
D'Angelo from Papatoetoe under-19s to Manu Samoa, now to Waikato. You're an NPC champion. I know you want to say something to your ainga first, so what would you like to say?
Yeah, mo lawa na si winga ma Papatoetoe. Wa iu mal manuel ma talong nei tarpo. Ilona lofa malanga lei. Tai.
D'Angelo, talk us through that game. What was going through your head?
Oh, at the start of the game, before we came out, all we spoke about was aggression and going for the full 80 minutes. And I think the boys did that. We did that well, and we bring the Mongo today.
What do you think is the key to success for Waikato? What has made you so good this season?
I think it's the heart that we have. I think we're the only team that did it rough. 2 months being away from home, being away from our families. We used that as something to drive us, and you know, we're fortunate enough to use that as well today. Even though we got to play here at home, we still use that as something to play for.
For you personally, you worked your way into the starting lineup. What does that mean for you this year?
Oh, I guess I just thank the people in the background, trainers, coaches, medical staff. They helped me a lot getting through the season, and credit to the boys, you know, they made it easy for me as well. The brotherhood we have here in Waikato is really strong, so this franchise has a lot of things to be proud of.
100 years for Waikato Rugby Union. What does it mean to win in the centenary year?
Oh, I think it would be better if you ask Mitch that question, because he's been here for a long time, or Hanga, but it means the world. It means the world. I know it means the world to these boys, the boys that have been here for a long time. I know it means them to, you know, play for, 100 years, and to get this win this year, stoked.
Once a Mulu man, always a Mulu man. You can be proud to wear that jersey. Congratulations, D'Angelo.
Proud as. Thank you.
Yeah, happy but humble. And thankful. What a nice moment. What a final. What a final. Knife-edge stuff. Waikato started so well. Tasman came back at them, but Waikato able to pounce on them. Say, Liam Messam, how great for him. His 99th. Will there be 100th? Well, who knows? You wouldn't put it past him. Waikato, the champions. The Premiership title is theirs in 2021.